joining me on this week's live. Last week we discussed the first part of the environmental health series in terms of Astral Hygiene's hints and tips in terms of the best way to use a colour-coded system like mops and buckets and handles and brushes, all in a particular kind of colour-coded system dedicated to particular zones. So this week we're going to be talking about the way in which your environmental health officer wants you to wash and particularly sanitise your dishes. So there's been a lot of kind of confusion about this over the years, and lots of people wanted a bubbly, foamy kind of dishwash solution to wash and to sanitize the dishes. And kind of when I started at Astral way back when, that's the kind of thing that we sold, and that's the kind of thing that was acceptable. However, now regulation has tightened up, so that isn't the case. So what you need to do to wash your dishes is basically a two-stage process, or sometimes a three-stage process, depending on the way that which you're going to go about it. So we'll get right into the detail of that just now. So your EHO will like to see absolutely the best way to sanitize your sanitize your dishes is through thermal disinfection. So to thermally disinfect your dishes, that would be using a machine dishwash or a dishwasher. So you have to make sure that it's getting up to the right temperature, and very, very hot water obviously kills all bacteria. So absolutely the best practice way to sanitize your dishes is to wash them with fairy liquid or with a washing up liquid that we sell, like our 10% detergent, which I'll link in the comments below. And then to just immediately put it through your dishwash with a nice kind of machine dishwash, a professional level dishwash, which I'll again link into the comments, which will strip your dishes of any soil, any grease, and the hot water will kill the bacteria, and then pull it out and just put them away. Obviously we're not looking to recontaminate them by rubbing them with a cloth or a tea towel. It doesn't matter how clean it is, so just put them away, because they're so hot that they will almost immediately dry. So that's the best practice way to do dishes in terms of a catering environment. And that would be what I would advise, because as soon as we start to introduce humans and in a catering environment where there's a high turnover of staff, a lot of humans, they just don't understand the process. A machine dishwash just kind of takes all of the kind of technicalities out of it, just make sure it's really, really hot. If you don't have a machine dishwash, or if your pots and pans don't fit in your machine dishwash, that's where the bactericidal detergent comes into play that my colleague Jane, thank you Jane, has linked in the comments. So what we would do is, of course, two sinks are always preferable in a catering environment. So you've got one to wash, one to sanitize. So within your washing sink, you just, fill up with hot water and put your bubbly solution in, whether it be the 10% detergent or fairy liquid or whatever it is. And then in the other sink is for sanitizing. So in the other sink, and this is like kind of a top tip and something that not very many people actually think about, how many litres does your sink take in terms of water? So lots of people say, oh yeah, it takes 20 litres. So where exactly on the sink do you fill the water up to for it to be 20 litres? So, and nobody can answer this question. So what I would always advocate to really kind of show the EHO that you absolutely know what you're doing, and you know exactly how much volume of water your sink holds, is to take a 5 litre, put your plug in, fill it up with water and pour it in. Take another 5 litre, fill it up with water and pour it in. And just pour it in until either you've got 15 litres or 20 litres, or if you've got a 40 litre sink, 40 litres. And then take a permanent marker and mark your sink and write 20 litres or 15 litres or whatever, so that your EHO can see that you know how much water your sink holds. And then have a look at the back of the bactericidal detergent, which Jane has linked in the comments, which will sanitise your dishes. And then you put in the required dose. So it's not a guesstimate. You either need a Pelican pump, which will dose 30 mils, 25 mils, 10 mils, and you just put in the right amount of kind of squirts. So I think in my blog, which I will link in the comments at the end of this, so for a 20 litre sink, our bactericidal detergent is so it's 1 to 100 in terms of the ratio. So you'd need to put 200 mils of our bactericidal detergent in a 20 litre sink. Now you need to have a look at the back of your bactericidal detergent to make sure that you are putting in the correct amount. Because if your EHO comes on site and says, let's have a look at your bactericidal detergent, does it have the right accreditations on it? And I'll come back to that. Or does it have, and what's the ratio? So how much are you putting in your sink? So they might ask you this, so you need to know the answer. So yeah, do your homework. Or if you've got a 20 litre sink, just buy ours and put 200 mils in. In terms of the accreditations for sanitising dishes, historically, historically before the REACH regulations came in, I'm not even sure how to put this, before the REACH regulations came in, which is the new regulations that came over from Europe, which is all about making sure that your chemical does what it says it can do. That's important. And making sure that you have been trained effectively for use with it, and making sure that you know what the hazard warning signs on it mean. So they are the kind of diamond-shaped signs on the back of it, which are having a red outline. They've either got corrosive or an exclamation point or whatever, and I'll do a blog about that later on. The accreditations on this bactericidal detergent used to be BSEN 1276, which everybody's familiar with. BSEN 1276 is actually an accreditation for bacteria kill on a hard surface. So in water is not a hard surface. And the last kind of conversation I had with certainly our local EHOs, I kind of said to them, we were having some kickback about the accreditation on our bactericidal detergent, because it's not BSEN 1276, because we're not trying to kill bacteria on a hard surface, we're trying to kill it in water. So ours is a different kind of accreditation, which behaves in a completely different way because it's in water. So I kind of said to the environmental health officer that I was talking to, well, have you heard about the REACH regulations? And they hadn't heard about them. So the REACH regulations are very important. Make sure that it holds the right accreditation, and make sure that it is killing bacteria in water rather than on a hard surface. Because if it's on a hard surface, obviously all of the parameters that are in place in water are very different than the parameters on a hard surface. So ours has got a completely different accreditation. And if you do go to the link that Jane has pasted below, you will see the MSDS sheet, the Material Safety Data Sheet, available for everybody, and an information sheet as well, which explains exactly why it's not BSEN 1276. If anybody has any questions, you can of course drop us an email at sales@astralhygiene.co.uk, or you can pop us a message on Facebook. This video will be changed by our IT department and will be uploaded on our YouTube channel. So please do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on our Facebook post. If you do, all of our blogs are kind of circulated around our kind of mailing list. So if you do want to be added to our mailing list again, just send us an email on Facebook or pop us an email to sales@astralhygiene.co.uk, and you'll get all of the kind of information that I put in our blogs direct to your mailbox. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.